the group, sub-clan, and clan he comes from, and the people he comes from. And from there, he'll move to Portuguese. I will do my best to give a worthy rendition, and anything that you find unworthy is really my own errors and mistakes. Hopefully, it will not be too bad. Pode começar, professor.
Uhum. Ekire maltabo yere Adugoenau iragojere imuga yere Adugoenauda iragojere pogede no tolo bat jebarua aí no pogede bado jebat chebegiuge aí no pogede bado jebage toro en pogede etchenai de pedirei no mato boy aregodure pogede.
My name is Adugoenau, my place, which include here my words. The word for mother is the word for my place. So my place is Adugoenauda. I come from the subgroup Badujeba, in the subclan Badujeba Chibigui, in the clan Badujeba of the Boé people. The Boé people are the people who come from the water.
As etnias brasileiras principais, nós temos alguns nomes. As principais etnias brasileiras, como vocês podem ver, as letras estão um pouco pequenas, são bastante etnias dentro do Brasil. E para falar dessa pluralidade étnica.
So I wanted to start by giving you an idea of how many different ethnicities we have in Brazil. Here are different peoples of Brazil and their different traditions and their typical artifacts, just so you have an idea of some of the peoples that we have in our home country.
Conforme eu trago alguns dados do IBGE, que é o Instituto Brasileiro de Geografia e Estatística, do ano de 2010, onde que trazemos os números das pessoas que declararam indígenas, e também tem o percentual, o número de quantidade de pessoas que vivem na área rural e em terras indígenas que são oficialmente reconhecidas.
So in here, I just give you an idea of how many of us there are in Brazil. So there are roughly 900,000 people in Brazil who consider themselves or declare themselves in the census as indigenous peoples of Brazil. Of those, about 64% live in rural areas. And of those, only 57% or roughly 500,000 do live in lands that are officially recognized as indigenous people's land.
Agora eu dou foco no processo educacional junto aos povos indígenas, pouquinho do histórico, pouca coisa mesmo, porque é um tempo muito pequeno. E não daria para falar, mas eu fiz uma outra apresentação de que traz todo assim o histórico de como que foi a educação para índios no Brasil, que é de objetivação de homogeneização e integração cultural.
What I'm doing in this presentation is I'll briefly describe the history of educational policies with respect to indigenous peoples in Brazil. I wanted to give you more detail and talk from the 1500s to the 21st century, but our time here will not allow because I wanted to give you an overall idea of how education for indigenous peoples work in Brazil right now and a brief history, but also the different needs of the different peoples and how can we change the policies in order to make them fed different peoples with different traditions.
Uma situação é a educação catequética e outra situação está relacionado aos jesuítas e ao positivismo, ao Marechal Rondon. Mas somente na década de 70 é que os povos indígenas eles se organizaram, começaram a se organizar com a sociedade civil organizada para poder brigar diretamente em busca de uma educação que respeite a sua forma de pensar, o jeito de ver, de entender o mundo. E com todos esses movimentos, já preparando-se para a Constituição de 88, com uma preocupação voltada para a valorização da cultura, a língua e as epistemologias originárias de cada povo.
So the first distinction I wanted to make to you is that of what happened from the 1500s to late 19th century, which was catechized education, where only education that came from Catholic priests was accessible to the indigenous peoples of Brazil. And then at the end of the 19th century with Marechal Rondon, who was a great explorer in Brazil, we started seeing changes with the idea of positivism that he advocated, that education should be tailored to the indigenous peoples. But it was really only from starting in the 70s that the indigenous peoples of Brazil started organizing themselves and making demands and fighting for education that would be tailored to their cultures and not to acculturalization or deculturalization.
Ainda sobre o processo educacional junto aos povos indígenas, na década de 80, as escolas passaram a ter professores indígenas de cada povo, assim, considerando assim, a língua, considerando a cultura originária de cada povo.
In the 80s, then we started having different different schools in which locals that belonged to the people were the heads of the different classrooms, and but before that it was only people from outside the different peoples who were responsible for education. And only in the 80s we started having the freedom and liberty of having our own people in different peoples being responsible for in-class education.
Com todas essas lutas dos povos indígenas, mais com a sociedade civil organizada, que foi possível com a luta constante, permanente dos povos indígenas indo para Brasília, com mobilizações, que se conseguiu colocar na Carta Magna da Constituição de 88 um artigo que ele dá assim, toda a orientação legal em relação aos povos indígenas, aos índios do Brasil.
As more and more different indigenous people started organizing themselves and started to go to Brasilia, to the capital of Brazil, and fight for a differentiated education. The movement became stronger and stronger, and in our constitution, our new constitution, which was promulgated in 1988, we then were given constitutional rights to differentiated education.
A filosofia principal da educação, ele pensou-se em uma educação intercultural dentro de uma política voltada para atender a educação escolarizada junto aos povos indígenas, que do reconhecimento da especificidade, diferenciação do bilinguismo, do multiculturalismo, intercultural e comunitário. Então ficou específica, diferenciada, bilíngue, multilíngue, intercultural e comunitária.
What we as indigenous peoples in Brazil advocated and fought for and continue to advocate and fight for is a school education that is based on the following philosophy, that fits specificity, differentiated education, bilingual or multilingual in communities that have more languages, not only two languages, intercultural and community led. So it's very important to us that the community not only decides but also leads the education in class.
Para mostrar assim, um pouco dessa educação diferenciada, específica, comunitária, eu trago aqui, começo a falar agora, a partir desta lâmina, como que é a orientação de uma educação originária específica do meu povo.
So to give you an example of how this would work, I am going to introduce you to the social organization of my people so that you understand how education that is not differentiated would not fit my people and would not make sense to the children of my people.
Aqui nós chamamos de plano metafísico da organização social de uma aldeia boró. De uma aldeia não, da aldeia boró. A planta aqui que nós trouxemos aqui, nós temos a orientação em leste para cima e oeste para baixo, e nós vemos o norte para o lado esquerdo e ao lado direito o sul.
So what you see here is the metaphysical organization of that any of our villages has. They are, if I call your attention to the fact that for us, the east is the top of the map and west is the bottom of the map. So you see that on your right-hand corner at the bottom, you see leste, oeste, so east and west. And then north then is to your left, and west is, and south is to your right.
No lado esquerdo, aqui do leste-oeste, nós temos aqui a metade exogâmica que se chama Tuguaré, que quer dizer mestre da flecha. E nessa metade exogâmica Tuguaré, temos 4 clãs. E do outro lado, na metade exogâmica Etcherai, também nós temos 4 clãs.
So again, my people, all villages are organized like this. And in the south half of the village, you see the Tuguarege. This is one of the exogamic halves. And the Tuguarege have 4 clans. And on the north side of the village, you see the Etcherai exogamic half, and it also is divided into 4 clans.
No sentido anti-horário, nós temos o Arora, que é do clã de uma lagarta, e depois o Agudo, que é o clã das gralhas, a Piboreg, que são os donos do Acuri, que é uma palmeira, e Paiue, que está relacionado ao bugio de cor anoitecida.
So the Aroroi are the clan of the caterpillar. The Iwagadu are the clan of the armadillo. The Aipiboroge are the clan of it's a palm tree that we have in Brazil. And the Paiwe are the clan of the Bugio macaque of dark color.
E na metade exogâmica Etcherai, nós temos Bado Djeba, que são os construtores da aldeia, Ki, que é do clã das Antas, e Bocodori Etcherai, que é do clã do Tatu Gigante, Tatu Canastra, e Bakoro Etcherai, que é Bado Djeba Chobogyug, que é em relação ao Bado Djeba Chebegyug, aqui.
On the Etcherai exogamic half, you see starting from at the bottom, you see the Badojeba clan. These are the village builders, and when he says village builders, it means spiritually, not only physically building a village. These are my words. Adugoenau comes from this clan. This is the clan that provides leaders to his people. Then you see the Kia clan, which is the clan of the tapir, and you see the Bakoderi Etcherai clan, which is the clan of the giant armadillo, and then the Bakoro Etcherai, which are the Badujeba Chobogui, which are the Badujeba from the top side of the village. I wanted to, again, my words, to call your attention that the Badujeba Chibigui, the clan where Adugoenau comes from, are the only clan who do not have a totem.
Essa linha, a primeira linha, é a linha das primeiras casas, onde que estão as mães de almas. E esse retângulo aqui é o Baíto, que é a casa dos rituais que fica no centro. Nós temos esse redondo aqui, que é um boiaroiro, tem outro boiaroiro. Nós temos um boiaroiro lá embaixo, que é o Aidemuga. E lá em cima nós temos o Manopá, que é um outro boiaroiro.
So the first circle that you see corresponds to the circle where you have the first houses. Then the rectangle that you see in the center of the village is the Baitu, a house where we share meals and we have ritual celebrated. And then the small circles are spaces that we use for also chanting rituals. And the Manupa, the one you see on east on top, the other circle is again another space that we use for ritual celebrations, and so is the Aijamuga, which you see on the west, the other circle at the bottom of your slide.
Esse é o plano metafísico. Metafísico porque o Bororo ele vive tudo de uma vez só. Eles se fundem como se fosse uma amálgama. Então não se separa, não se quebra em pedaços. Vive tudo e ao mesmo tempo, simultânea e sincronicamente.
My people say that this is a metaphysical representation because we don't believe in split lives or pieces or parts of the universe. We believe that everything is unified and it's here, and we live all at the same place at the same time. So for us, it's very important that you hear in some anthropology work that the lines, the vertical line, the horizontal line, they divide the village. We don't see it as this. We don't see it this way. We see these are lines that unify different halves of our villages.
O Bororo, dentro da sua orientação filosófica, tem 3 axiomas básicos, 3 axiomas principais. O primeiro é a união.
My people live on the philosophy by 3 axioms. We have a philosophy that has 3 main axioms. The first one is union, and we represent it by a circle.
É a reciprocidade.
The second axiom is the one of reciprocity, and as you see, the line does not divide for them. It means reciprocity, so it unifies or unites.
A reciprocidade ela é marcada por essa linha. Então, quando se vê essa figura, o Bororo ele entende que é reciprocidade. Os antropólogos, sociólogos em suas obras falaram que isso aqui é uma linha que separa. O Bororo ele não entende assim. É uma linha que junta, que une.
So again, the Bororo see this line not as a line that divides, but a line that unites. So it's one of the things that they tell sociologists and anthropologists when they come to study their people and their culture, that this is very important for them. It's always about union and reciprocity, so no division.
E essa linha ela é representada, os Bororos têm a ideia dessa linha na cor anoitecida. Anoitecida é a cor dos espíritos. Eu estou falando a cor anoitecida porque nós não temos, sabe, o Bororo não tem uma palavra para dizer negro, para dizer preto, para dizer escuro. Então conforme a noite, a cor da noite, então se fala assim que essa cor é anoitecida.
In the minds of the members of my people, this line, which I remind you runs from east to west, is of the nightly color. And I say of the nightly color because we do not have a word for black. Rather, we have a word that describes the color of the night. And we think of this line as being the color of the night because this is the line that we see connect us to the spirits. So it connects the world of the living to the world of the spirit.
Esta lâmina, trazemos a inextricabilidade vital e espiritual. O Borano, ao ver isso, ele entende dessa forma. E essa linha que está no sentido horizontal, ela é marcada, simboliza a força do ser humano, das pessoas, que é o líquido vital que sai da mulher no seu ciclo menstrual. E ela é na cor, e nós não temos uma palavra também para cor vermelha, mas aí é uma palavra que aproxima da cor vermelha, relacionando a esse líquido vital.
The third axiom my people live by, the third axiom that is very important in our philosophy, is the inextricability between life and spirit, so between the living and the spiritual. And this line for us is represented by the color of the menstrual liquid, which we understand as being the liquid that gives life. And therefore, in my people, we see this line as being of that color, which for you approximates the color red.
Aqui nós vemos o conjunto, os três axiomas, né? Nós temos o círculo, aqui está o círculo, que para nós é a união, nós temos a linha na vertical, e ali que é a união, e a linha na horizontal, que é a inextricabilidade da vivência do mundo dos espíritos com o mundo dos vivos.
Now, if we put everything together, I just want to reinforce that we have the three axioms. The circle means union, the vertical line means reciprocity, and the horizontal line means the inextricability, I don't like this word, between the living and the spiritual.
E todos os saberes e fazeres, tudo que vem de fora, mesmo que as coisas que vêm de fora, que não faz parte do mundo Bororo, eles têm que atender a esses três axiomas, que é a da união, da reciprocidade e da inextricabilidade vital e espiritual, atendendo dentro dessas perspectivas de ver, de entender, de enxergar o mundo.
And then for us, even when we have knowledge that comes from the outside world, we have to put this knowledge into these three axioms, into this philosophy. So for us, we have to understand knowledge coming from the outside world with respect to how it works with union, reciprocity, and I will do like 5 times and I'll do 5 times wrong. Inextricability between the living and the spiritual.
A organização clânica, com as 4 metades do lado aqui dos Tuguareg e os 4 aqui clãs da metade exogâmica Etcherai.
So when you see the villages physically, you have the 3 axioms that are physical part of the village, and then we divide those into clans and into the exogamic halves, the Etcherai and the Tuguareg.
A organização subclânica, aqui nós temos as 4 também, a mesma coisa, só que aí a gente traz aqui a organização subclânica. Dentro dos clãs tem os subclãs, aqui também, e tem nos outros 4 clãs da metade exogâmica Etcherai.
Inside each clan you have 3 subclans, and those are the red lines that you see on the slide.
A origem e as simetrias axiais, aqui a origem é o local onde que é o portal do mundo dos vivos com o mundo dos mortos, o mundo dos espíritos.
So the point of origin for us, which is the center of the village, is the union between the world of the living with the world of the dead, and the axial symmetries that you see here are very important for us. They represent different paths that we have to take in order to celebrate different occasions with people from different clans.
Aqui nós temos outras origens aqui para essas duas metades exogâmicas, os dois clãs, e aqui também a mesma coisa acontece aqui com esses dois clãs, e outra origem aqui também para esses dois clãs. Essas origens, elas não têm, ela não emana tanta energia como aqui, né? Por isso que o Bororo, todos os rituais funerários acontecem aqui, e o chamamento da pessoa morta acontece aqui também, nos últimos dias do funeral.
So the points that I have shown you that are the vertices of the squares are the points of union between each of the two clans, the 8 clans, so 2 by 2, and we believe they have special energy, but not an energy as strong as the central point, the point of origin, where we perform our death rituals that are very important to my people.
Aí está o complexo inteiro, com todas as suas linhas, os clãs, as metades orgânicas, os clãs, subclãs.
So if I put together the entire metaphysical representation, you will have all of the crossing points, and the lines are important to my people. They all have different purposes and for different clans and subclans in my people.
Como funciona a estrutura organizacional básica? Nessa de cá eu trago aqui a educação originária aqui, e do outro lado aqui a educação escolar. Aqui na educação originária há um conselho de anciãos e anciãs, né? Enquanto que na educação escolar tem um diretor escolar, ele é único, ele é sozinho, né? E ele que manda, né? Enquanto que para o Bororo há um conselho onde que ela atende a forma circular da aldeia, da união. Enquanto que para nós, isso aqui não é união, isso aqui não é união. Ela corre o risco de estragar essa educação originária. Então, por isso que a gente traz essas duas coisas para a gente ter uma ideia de como que funciona.
So now I wanted to tell you a little bit about how the philosophy I just showed you translates into education for my people. On the right side, you see how school education is organized in Brazil in general. And on the left side, you will see what my people think of education. So the first thing you'll notice is that for school education, in general in Brazil, you have a school principal. And for us, we have to have a council of the wise women and a council of the wise men. And they talk about everything that has to be implemented together. And for us, the fact that you would have only one person responsible and not have, for example, women and men involved would decharacterize our knowledge, and it doesn't speak for the union that we believe in.
Do lado de cá, logo depois eu trago quem educa, aqui para a educação originária e aqui para a educação escolar. Aqui nós temos uma gama de agentes que educam dentro dessa, na perspectiva originária, Bororo. As metades orgânicas com seus jovens, as crianças, a menina até a primeira menstruação, o menino até a iniciação ritual.
So for us, the people who educate and teach are different for different stages of the children. And they also have to be different depending on the clans and subclans that we belong to. So while in general, you would have teachers, female and male teachers. For us, we do have, our children have to understand how the exogamic halves work. So, and they should follow together. They should be in the same groups. When male and female children should be in the same groups only until the girl's first menstruation and the boy's ritual initiation, which is pre-teens teens for us.
Aqui do outro lado, na educação escolar, quem ensina são as professoras e os professores. É, nessa situação, dentro da educação escolarizada, há uma situação muito ruim, onde que professor, ele é um professor contratado pelo Estado, ou professor ou professora, mas aqui, que lá se chama de clientela, não existem existe uma especificidade dentro da clientela, porque se eu sou Batucheba, do clã Batucheba, eu tenho a obrigatoriedade de ensinar, de educar meninas e meninos deste clã, enquanto que eu, enquanto professor, me jogam dentro de uma sala de aula onde tem Batucheba, onde tem Aroroe, tem o Agudo, tem a Piborege, Bocadore Tcherai, Bacora Tcherai, Kie, Paiwe, enfim, todos os clãs estão ali dentro representados. E aí eu tenho dentro da educação originária, como é que eu vou ensinar para essas pessoas que não fazem parte do meu clã, né? Há, uma orientação de que quem tem que ensinar para cada clã são pessoas do seu próprio clã.
So if you look to the right hand side of the slide, you see that the usual situation is that you have a teacher, female or male, and this teacher is hired by the state. But for my people, if I come from the Badujeba clan, I have the responsibility of teaching the children that belong to my clan, but I should not be teaching the children that come from the other 7 clans. So the configuration of having one teacher that teaches all of the children does not apply to our culture, because then the children will forget the knowledge and the teachings that come from their particular clans. So this is a very bad situation for my people.
Os regentes aqui dentro da educação originária, para a menina, quem ensina é a avó, mãe, tias maternas. Para o menino é o Yorobodare e irmãos desses. Aqui eu trouxe Yorobodare por conta que o significado dessas palavras significa mestre dos meus remédios mágicos.
So in our culture, the person who should be teaching the girls or the female children should be the mothers of souls, so should be the grandmothers, and also the mother and the aunts, but only from the maternal side. And the person who should be teaching the boys should be the Yorobodare, which is the master of all remedies for them, or his brothers.
O que se ensina na educação escolar? Tem áreas de conhecimentos, componentes curriculares, tem as disciplinas. Aí tem a pergunta: um professor pode ensinar um boiacaro? Não, não pode. Do lado de cá, nós temos o boiacaro, que se ensina, está logo aqui em primeiro. Boiacaro, esse é o sócio cósmico Boe. E tem aqui as orientações em relação às metades isogâmicas. Aí tem o específico a cada clã, específico a mulher, específico coloquei homem, mulher, entre aspas, porque na língua bororo não tem uma palavra também para dizer mulher, e também para homem, né? Para nós, homem e mulher não existem. Para nós existe aredo e existe imedo.
So going from who should teach to what should be taught. If you look at the right-hand side again, you have different curricular components and disciplines. And my question is, can a teacher that is hired by the state teach the Boiacaro? The Boiacaro is the philosophy I just talked to you about. And we think that they can't. So if you look at the left-hand side, what we think we should teach our children is the Boiacaro, our philosophy, which has to do with the 2 exogamic halves, which tells the children, so we'll give differentiated education to each of the exogamic halves, and then would be specific to each of the clans, and we also have specificity with respect to women and men. When I say women and men, they're marked here because we do not have a word for woman or for man. We do have aredu, which means the carrier, the bearer of the seed, and we have imedu, which means the one who stands next to the bearer of the seed.
As categorias etárias sociais. Do lado aqui, aredo, e do outro lado, imedo. Não coloquei homem porque, assim, dentro de uma orientação, dentro do que o povo Bororo, como na expectativa dele enxergar, é aredo e imedo, do outro lado, né? Aqui nós temos Itonarigué, do outro lado também nós temos aredrogo, imedrogo, aredo, quando acontece a primeira menstruação, e pare, quando se faz a iniciação ritual do adolescente.
So going from what should be taught to how we would separate the different ages in the children, these are the categories that we would have. So we would not have first grade, second grade, etc. We have the aredo, which are the women, or equivalent to what we say is a woman in Portuguese. And you have the different categories according to age, where aredo, when you get to aredo when you have your first menstrual cycle, and you would have the imedo, where you would have the ipare when you are being ritually initiated as a boy.
Logo em seguida nós temos Tugo Boegaredo e Pate Pega. Do outro lado nós temos Tugo Boegare, Pau Pega. Essa é uma situação que essa categoria social ela foi feita com base nas guerras que o meu povo travava com outros povos, e o Bororo ele travou várias guerras com os outros povos, com os próprios portugueses, né? Os portugueses foram 50 anos. Quando se debruça na história do Mato Grosso, você percebe que os documentos da época eles apontam um período de 50 anos, né?
After the Aredo and Ipari ages, you will see that you have the Tuguboega Aredo and the Tuguboega Are, and the Boega Aredo and the Boega Are, the Pajapega, the Paupega. These are all ages that correspond a little bit with you being ready to be a warrior. My people had wars for 50 years with the Portuguese, and so there are different classifications as far as you being ready to go to war and the women being ready to defend themselves or the villages, and to the Pajapega, which is the mother of all, or the Paupega, which is the father of all.
Então, Boegaredo é mestra da flecha e do arco, e aqui é mestre da flecha e do arco. Aqui embaixo, outra categoria, Boegaredo e Boegare, mestra do arco, e aqui para Imedo também, mestre do arco. Do outro lado, Padipega, que é mãe de todos, e Paupega, que é pai de todos.
So the Tuguboegaredo and the Tuguboegare are the she or he who mastered the bow and the arrow, and the Boegaredo and the Boegare are she or he who masters the bow, and the Pajapega and Paupega are the mother or father of all.
Aí tem algumas palavras para filho, né? Porque a gente traz isso para dizer que não tem as palavras para filho e muga, para pai, mulher, homem, filha, avó. Aí a gente traz aqui conforme o Bororo ele fala aqui. Imuga, Iogo, Aredo, Imedo, Boetor, Imuga Pega, Iogo Pega.
So I wanted to show you a little bit of how for us it is important that our children understand that we do have these words that we use, and they, even though they can be translated into concepts that are used in the society that involves us, the children should know what they really mean. So our word for mother is imuga, but it really isn't the mother as you think of a mother in Portuguese. It is the place. Your place is what you call your mother, and so on and so forth for sister and father and people.
Aí nessa lámina nós trazemos educadores primários, as educadoras primárias, as educadoras secundárias e os educadores terciários. Os educadores primários relacionados à dona da semente e as educadoras primárias, as suas irmãs consanguíneas, subclânicas ou clânicas, e educadores terciários são os irmãos consanguíneos ou irmãos subclânicos, clânicos ou da metade exogâmica.
So for us, the educators should be first and foremost the grandmother and the mother, and so that the bearer of the seed is oriented by her place, so by her mother. So that's why the grandmother. If you have secondary educators, it could be their sisters, their blood sisters, or their subclan or clan sisters. And if you would have tertiary educators, that would be the mother's blood brothers, so the male relatives of the mother, either by blood or by clan and subclan.
Então, as fases associadas à criança, né? A preparação, a apresentação, a nominação.
So for us, it'd be really important that the children understand that there are social rituals that they have to go through and they should learn at school. And that would be your preparation for before you were born, and then your presentation to the community, and then your nomination. We say it's the ceremony where the name of the child is said aloud for the first time.
Tem os espaços da criança, conforme a idade e o crescimento, né? Dentro da aldeia, fora da aldeia.
So we need that. So as far as spaces where we would have our school, we have spaces within our villages that are very important, and we would like them used in education. And we also have spaces outside our villages, like our rivers and our creeks, the places where we plant and gather fruit and fish and hunt, that we also think are important for the children to know.
Nós temos a fronteira, o que é a fronteira para as crianças, né? É a fronteira espacial e a fronteira social.
And in school, we need our children also to learn about the borders. So there are spiritual borders in our villages, and there are social borders in our villages that you were shown in the metaphysical plan of the village.
A criança tem assim as fases Pitorirongo, Uretumugu, Duretumeru, Duretuadoru, Duretorodo, Uretumaragodu.
And children go through different phases to our people with the names that I have given you: the Pitorirogo, the Uretumugudo, the Uretumerudo, the Uretuarodarudo, the Ureturodo, and the Uretumaragodudo, which are different phases where they can interact with different people. So in the first one, for example, the child should not be held by anyone who's not related to the mothers, to the family of the mother or the clan of the mother.
As aprendizagens primeiras básicas relacionadas à união, à reciprocidade e à inetiscabilidade.
The first things that we would like our children to learn about would be the three axioms, so the union, and how does that apply to clan, how that applies to the clan, subclans, exogamic halves, and the Bororo as Boe people. The reciprocity, you have to be careful with one another and have to respect and and honor one another, and the inextricability between the living and the spiritual.
E os saberes dados, feitos na educação escolar, ela tem que atender a essas três orientações. É por isso que a escola ainda não conseguiu ainda uma escola, nós não conseguimos ainda uma escola satisfatória que atenda nesses três eixos.
And these are the reasons why we still don't have a school that really serves my people. We don't have any school that really lives through these three axioms.
Iogua, nos dicionários está dizendo que é pai, né? Mas não é pai. Para nós não é pai, ela tem uma outra conotação dentro da língua, que é o que dá a vida para a sua parte, né? Nós não temos palavra para filha, para filho, então é como se fosse parte de nós, né? Se ela fosse minha filha, ela é minha parte, mas ela não é meu filho. Não é assim que a gente entende, que ela seria minha filha, mas parte de mim.
So here I showed the word that is translated as father, but Yagwa. But this is really not father. It means that someone is part of me. So we believe and understand that family is being part of. So my children are part of me. If Simone were my child, she would be part of me. And that's how we see relatives and family lines.
Dentro da orientação, né, daquele complexo que nós vimos antes, então Simone, ela não é parente meu, mesmo eu sendo pai dela, né? Ela não é meu parente, então não é uma obrigatoriedade minha de estar educando ela, de estar levando ela dentro das orientações filosóficas do povo boró de educação.
And I wanted to call your attention to the fact that if we were in my people and Simone would be my daughter, she would not be my responsibility as far as education goes, because she would belong to my wife's family. So the responsibility is my wife's family would have to educate Simone, her mother, herself, her sisters and brothers. I can only educate children that come from my mother's clan.
Aí nesse sentido eu não sou parente também da minha companheira de vida, da minha esposa. Então ela teria que ser educada dentro de uma orientação do clã da mãe dela, e não do meu clã.
Because I am not considered to be a relative to my wife. She is the owner of the clan, so she educates the children that I will have with her, and I could only say anything about the children that come from my mother's clan, education-wise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would he like to take a few questions? perhaps?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if anyone has questions about his trip here and our work together, I'm more than glad to elaborate.
So what is your work here together?
Yeah, okay. So we met through another researcher 4 years ago, and I am very interested in their culture and language. And we started collaborating, and I asked him, would you come to Cornell so that we can record your language with equipment and in the sound booth, and I can use software that I use in with artificial intelligence to help me document your language. And he said he would be interested. So we spent 2.5 years working on how do we get a visa? Can we bring you? Can I get a grant? Which LASP is thankfully contributing to. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So what we're doing is, I don't know what relationship you have to languages in general, so just a brief overview. We have about 7,000 languages that we think are living languages in the world right now. Of those, more or less 40% are dying languages, and they're at different stages of endangerment. Adugoenau's language has about 900 speakers left, and of those, most are bilinguals, so we don't really know how healthy the language is. And that is the case with about 40% of the languages that we have in the world. So many linguists try to do field work to document and try to revitalize with the community the language. Um, so one of the things I wanted to do is how can I use computational tools that I know how to use to help expedite that. And our main objective here this month that he's staying with us is to create corpora. So I'm creating corpora that will be available for his people and for ourselves as researchers that we can use for different purposes. And it's also then a record of the language. And we have some projects for the future that I hope will come true. So we want to do, to teach their people how to document their language and how to understand better their language so that they can teach it better. We have some pedagogical projects that we would like to work on if we get the money to do that. And with respect to revitalization, the Bororo are really good in keeping their culture and language. So they're among the peoples in Brazil who were better at integrating while keeping their culture and language among other indigenous peoples. And that is why they have an endangered language, but not as endangered as other people who sometimes have more speakers, but are not so good at keeping culture and language. So they're good at that, but whatever we can do together to encourage, like creating apps in Bororo, creating animated features in Bororo so that the children feel proud and confident and willing to use the language, we intend to do.
You're teaching him English?
He learns English way faster than I learn Bororo. So I don't even have to teach. We do have one dissertation that was written by a Cornell student in 1979 about his language. He spent 3 years with them, and I have this dissertation on my desk, and he started looking at it, and he understood most of it, and I was like, that is not fair. It doesn't take me this little time to understand things in your language. So one of the things we would like to have done is for him to take English while he was here, but his trip got delayed by 10 days, and in virtue of that, we're doing less English than we wanted to. But it would be one of the things we want to do.
There was something about a children's book that you mentioned before as a possible project.
Yeah, so they do have a children's book that tells stories about the Bororo people, how they came to be, what they consider important as far as animals, as plants. And we would like to make that maybe become animated features. So that would not be the first such project. There's a group at RIT who did that with another people hired in the Amazon, and it was really successful. And Adugoenau would be very excited about that project, but that would require many things. So we hope to do something similar in the future.
I'm just curious, how supportive is the Brazilian government of efforts to try to defend and protect indigenous languages when they become endangered like this, with less than 1,000 speakers left? Are there initiatives underway to try to, to protect the language?
So I know a few facts about that, but for this I'll translate to Felix and ask him. I want him to give his impression other than me telling you about maybe some things that I read that I don't know work well or not, or even have been implemented, because things are so nice when you look at them on paper and then sometimes they never got implemented at all. Professor, eles estão perguntando se a senhora acha que o governo brasileiro se preocupa com as línguas que estão em perigo de extinção no Brasil, se existem iniciativas para recuperar, para revitalizar, para encorajar o povo a usar, ou se a senhora acha que não existe nenhuma iniciativa, ou existe, mas não é implementada, é ignorada?
se for de falar de governo brasileiro num todo, não. Se for falar do Michel Temer fundou o país. Né?
So if you mean Brazilian government as far as federal government, he says like absolutely no. And if you think of the current government, the Temer government, then whatever there was, it has been terminated with. They don't have money. They pulled everything, all resources from these types of programs.
Just to give you a small example, the new director of the FUNAI, which is the Indigenous government
Foundation
agency, was a military guy in favor of the expansion of settler colonialism.
So it's one state primarily that they have to depend on for things like that, or how many, I guess, how spread throughout the country are these?
The indigenous peoples of Brazil.
Well,
His people, one state, so central Brazil, Mato Grosso. We have indigenous peoples from southernmost Brazil, from Rio Grande do Sul to the Amazon. So they're really widespread geographically. Ele está perguntando se o senhor acha que o seu povo depende então do governo estadual para ter alguma iniciativa de conservação de língua ou não tem de quem depender?
Não, politicamente não tem uma política. Se não tem uma política, sim, ela não está em lugar nenhum. Né?
Uhum.
Nós fizemos algumas tentativas porque as pesquisas elas estão restritas à academia, né? E a educação, a Secretaria de Estado da Educação, que existe em todos os estados, elas não têm uma política sólida para poder contemplar as situações da linguística. Né? E uma das coisas que a gente briga muito lá é justamente uma política de atendimento às línguas, porque nós temos muitos povos indígenas, o Bororo ainda está, nós temos a língua Bororo já escrita em dicionários, agora há povos com pouquíssimas pessoas que não tem nada escrito, não tem gramática, ela não está escrita, não tem dicionário, então, e aí a gente fica preocupado com esses povos que não têm estudiosos para estudar e para registrar, né? E aí, então, como ela está restrita, a pesquisa está restrita às universidades, então não há uma aproximação, sim, tanto das universidades como a Secretaria Estadual de Educação, a SEDUCS e a SEDUCS com as instituições para poder fazer uma política de atendimento a essas línguas.
So he says that there really isn't anyone in the government, even state government, state level or municipal level government that they can depend on. And one of the reasons he sees for that to be happening is that whatever research is done is kept in academia, and it doesn't transpire to the public or to the government. So the government actually has no knowledge of how to deal with endangerment of languages or how to work with conservation and revitalization of languages. So what worries him is that his language has been written because they have been in contact with the Salesian priests from Italy for 250 years now. And they were very good at writing down the language, at proposing a writing system that is absolutely not adequate for a speaker of Bororo. And Portuguese, it's adequate for a speaker of Bororo who speaks Italian. So he wanted to change this a little bit if possible. We can talk about a little bit about the symbols they use and the sounds they correspond to and how they really correspond to Italian and not to Portuguese. So his people, he showed me some writings, some messages that he's gotten, and they really all fit into Portuguese orthography. But if you look at the dictionary, they should be fitting into Italian orthography. But he worries that most of the languages, especially in that region, so Mato Grosso is a very rich region for indigenous people. So in a small region, they have more than 50 different people. Most of them have never been documented, or they have no dictionary, no even list of 50 words. They have no grammars. So he worries that they will disappear before the government is able to do anything.
So there are no nonprofit organizations of Indigenous people working on the language issue.
So FUNAI, or the Foundation for the Indigenous Peoples of Brazil, should be working with that, but I think that their main concern nowadays is to protect the indigenous peoples from outside interference. And sometimes they do that to the detriment of academic research and revitalization projects. So they make it. So I'll give you an example. Eu vou falar que o senhor, quando fez o mestrado, o senhor precisava de autorização da FUNAI para entrar no seu próprio povo e levaram 2 anos para dar.
pouquinho mais de 2 anos,
Um
só para
pouquinho.
só 2 anos, só para amenizar,
Só pra
só para ver
amenizar.
se.
So, for example, what Adugoenau told me is that he has a master's in education, and he wanted to go into his own village to do research. And you have to have authorization from FUNAI and CNPq in Brazil to do that. And he was denied that. So he had to wait 2.5 years. If you're in a master's program, that's 2 years, right? So he had to wait 2.5 years to be able to go into his own village of his own people to be able to collect data legally. So, for example, we're working together because he does not live in a village, so he does not qualify as protected people. Otherwise, it would have taken me 4 years to get a license, being that I'm outside, a researcher from outside of Brazil, etc., etc.
It's not
eu pretendo
by government, but by the indigenous people's clan. So should we come out to go to them to connect?
So for example, in his case, it is a government institution. So FUNAI is a government institution. So it's a federal institution. In his case, of course, he belongs to the people, so the people wanted him to come. And even in that case, it took him that long to get authorization.
But he has authorization.
So he actually managed to have authorization, but it delayed his work a lot.
It's a fascinating story, and there may be some people that if you've got a few minutes, they may want to stay and talk a little bit. I think we probably need to finish up the official event. I myself have a meeting I'm going to have to.
Thank you so
off
much
to.
for
Thank
having
you.
us.
Thank you very much for coming. It's very.
Thank you.